Let me thank the distinguished chairman for yielding, and I rise in support of H.R. 6878, the Pregnant Woman in Custody Act, because women's lives matter. Pregnant women's lives matter. Their babies' lives matter, as do the lives of incarcerated women and their babies. I have worked on this issue for a very long time and delighted to be able to support this legislation introduced by my friend and colleague, Congresswoman Bass. This works to ensure that we recognize the increasing population of women incarcerated. Unfortunately, women are the fastest growing segment of the incarcerated population in the United States. Conversations about criminal justice reform often overlook their uniqueness and needs of women and girls within the criminal justice system. For instance, Mr. Speaker, the United States has the second highest rate of women incarcerated in the world, with 64% per 100,000 in custody, nearly 60,000 pregnant women admitted into American jails and prisons every year. That's a lot. While some states have yet to prohibit the shackling of women when they are giving birth, we have to do something. This bipartisan legislation would establish federal policies to prohibit the use of restrictive housing on incarcerated pregnant women and develop a national standard of care to add to the pregnancy-related needs of incarcerated women, including access to prenatal and post-delivery care and support. My legislation, the Sumatra Act, also complements this by creating a pilot program in the federal system for mothers to be able to stay with their infants for a period of time. This humane response and the humane response of this bill is what we need to do. Oftentimes, pregnant women lack access to appropriate nutrition while incarcerated, and the use of restrictive housing can have detrimental effects on a woman's health as well as the health of her baby. And while women of color are disproportionately impacted by incarceration, they also face higher risks of both miscarriage and maternal mortality. This bill would make certain that incarcerated pregnant women receive vital prenatal health care and postpartum support, and ensure the Bureau of Prisons and the Marshals Service protect the health and safety of incarcerated women through their pregnancy, when they deliver their child, as they receive postpartum care. They should not be shackled, and they should not be intimidated or frightened. The one thing I want to say, Mr. Speaker, even though many of us have different views, and I am an avid supporter of the right to choose, this is not an abortion bill. This is a health care bill. And we also know that the prisons make their determinations on how they help women in their contraceptive. And so H.R. 6878 would allow BOP to collect data on healthcare needs of pregnant women so that we may have a better understanding. Let me clearly say that separating a newborn from its mother gives it less chance for both survival and success in life. We know in Harris County, Texas, there are approximately 1,000 women incarcerated in the Harris County Jail. This bill will require a GAO study, setting national standards, endeavor to do a landscape to understand reproductive freedom in this country. And as I've said, that is why my bill, the Sumatra Act, included in the Violence Against Women Act.
Expired.
Speaker, I'll yield the gentlelady an extra 30 seconds.
Gentlelady is recognized for 30 seconds.
I thank the chairman. That is why, Mr. Speaker, I was glad to see my bill, the Stop Infant Mortality and Recidivism Reduction Act of 2021, or the Sumatra Act, included in the Violence Against Women Act, which passed earlier this year. That bill established a pilot program to allow women incarcerated in federal prisons and their babies during their incarceration to reside with each other while the mother is incarcerated for a period of time. Let us continue to be innovators in the treatment of those who are incarcerated, and let us make sure that we give every newborn a healthy life. I ask my colleagues to support the underlying legislation. I yield back my time.